Welcome to the Hexadome. If you are not familiar with Aristeia by Corvus Belli, I suggest checking out the how to play video to get an idea of how the game is played. You can click that little title card that appeared or check out the link in the description. Aristeia is a blood sport in humanity's distant future set in the Infinity Universe. The board game works similarly to an online territory control game like Dota or League of Legends. A team can be made up of any characters in the roster, allowing for every game to be unique, as every character has very unique playstyles and abilities. In today's battle report, we will be seeing the base game's characters forming two teams, the same as those recommended for any new player's first game. Today's match is Assault. Both teams will set up either side of the Hexadome and will be fighting it out to control the elected scoring zone for each round. The opening round has the center zone activated for scoring. From then on, whichever team is the underdog gets to elect the following round's scoring zone. Teams get 2 points for having more Aristos in the scoring zone than their opponent, or 3 if a scoring zone is uncontested. If both teams have an equal number of Aristos in a scoring zone, then they will both receive 1 point. The game is over once a team scores 8 points or the 5th round has ended. In the case of a tie, the team with the most frags wins. Let's take a look at the green team. First up is Major Luna, the sniper extraordinaire. With a decent initiative and movement, Major Luna can get the drop on slower Aristos and can also position herself quickly around the Hexadome. She has a solid defense but can easily get quagmired if an opposing Aristo closes into melee. Her main attack is with her sniper rifle, which has immense range and stopping power. Not surprisingly, she is one of the most lethal Aristos in the dome. With suppressive fire, she can slow an opponent's advance, preventing sprints to objectives. Thanks to her marksmanship ability, she ignores cover, preventing the opponent from receiving a bonus die. Another passive ability allows her to exchange a black defensive die to a more aggressive orange die, making her not only more deadly when attacking from cover, but also when defending from it. Finally, her native switch ability allows her to remove blocks from enemy rolls. In today's match, she will be taking the tactic Ricochet, which allows any Aristo on her team an opportunity to attack without line of sight. With Major Luna's range, this means there is nowhere to hide. Her second tactic she will be taking is Snakebite, a powerful buff to her cooled shot attack that almost always results in a frag and opposing Aristo waking up in the infirmary. Next we have Maximus taking the role of a tank. Maximus has a below average initiative and has a very small movement value of 3. He is slow to position initially on the table. However, no Aristo comes close to his defense and hit point combination. It is not only hard to cause wounds, but he has so many to remove before he is sent to the infirmary, it is often not even worth attacking him. He's also good at holding adjacent enemies in place with his high brawl, but he also steamrolls past opponents with his automatic critical for agility. This makes him surprisingly more maneuverable when stuck in close combat. His attack Jotun Shield can cause some damage, but very rarely does. Where it shows its greatest use is in the attack's switch, where an opponent can be easily displaced out of a contested scoring zone. As a tank, he may take damage for adjacent allies. This can be very useful when a character is needed to be kept alive because they have not been activated in the round yet. This final passive skill is where Maximus gets another opportunity to be surprisingly mobile. Any allies that are attacked by an enemy give Maximus the opportunity to displace himself 1 space. This more than makes up for his low movement value and is quite powerful as a displace cannot be stopped. Maximus's native switch allows him to taunt enemies. This will force the opponent to only be able to attack the taunter, a further measure to help protect your more vulnerable teammates. In today's match, Maximus will be taking the tactic Block to give any character that makes use of it a large buff to their defense of an attack, and Scram, a tactic that will allow a character to displace all adjacent targets, friend and foe alike. Very useful when you need that moment to take control of a scoring zone. Parvati is a powerful all-rounder who acts as the team's medic. Her initiative is low, but her movement of 5 makes her very mobile and easy to get in positions around the arena. Her defense is strong, but she only has 3 wounds, making her vulnerable to powerful attacks. Her submachine gun attack is surprisingly powerful and only costs 2 action points, making them very cost efficient and with decent range. She has 2 actions that help support her team, the first of which is Reset, that helps remove all states on a target. This can be used to remove debuffs from teammates or buffs from opponents. The second ability is Medikit, that if successful helps heal wounds from a target. She also has a passive switch that gives her an initiative boost for her next activation. The tactics she will be bringing today are Field Analysis, which gives the activating character an initiative boost for those crucial moments when choosing activation order is imperative. The other tactic is Advanced Surgery, allowing an Aristo returning from the bench to begin their activation without an energy debuff. The final Aristo in the green team is the controller, Hexa. Hexa has a lot of average skills and a low wound count. Where Hexa shines is in her abilities. Gotcha is a great way to immobilize an opposing Aristo so they cannot move. This is especially debilitating for those Aristos who rely on their ability to reposition across the board quickly. It also has a switch that reduces their movement value by 2. The second ability, Vade Retro, is especially useful for today's scenario, as she can easily displace opponents out of scoring zones and put allies into them. Her native switch also gives her the opportunity to displace herself. A good player will make strong use of this to not have to use action points to move her, but instead use switches to get Hexa where she needs to be. Her tactics in this match will be Untouchable, which buffs her defense to near unstoppable levels. Very useful when you need Hexa to stay alive in a linchpin round. The other is Unlimited Power, which costs Hexa energy in the subsequent round, but gives her the power to displace the entire opposing team. That is the green team, a good mix of killing power, tanking, support and control. Let's now take a look at their opponents, the orange team. Let's take a look at the close combat swordmaster Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi has impressive baseline stats with a high initiative, 5 movement points and a decent 4 hit points. His defense is strong and fares well in both brawn and athletic roles. His attack, Ken no Sen, looks offensively weak with a blue die, but coupled with his native switch, he can turn blocks into successes, giving him adaptability in close combat. The attack switch also offers him the opportunity to make consecutive free attacks. Increasing his maneuverability is his passive ability that allows Musashi to displace for every point of damage he deals to his enemy. He is taking Sora-Do as a tactic to nullify an opponent's die roll and Kaze-Do, giving him 3 free movement points. Great for that last ditch power play to score a faraway zone. The orange team has another heavy damage dealer in Wild Bill. Where Musashi was an expert at close range, Wild Bill is the ranged equivalent. With less movement points and a poorer ability to brawl and dodge, his baseline stats are weaker than Musashi, but he makes up for this with his attack. Twin Pistols has a very strong role, giving great opportunity for heavy damage at a decent range. He just has to keep his opponents away from him as the range cannot attack adjacent characters. It also comes with a powerful switch that gives Wild Bill a free attack at a different target. He also has 2 passive abilities. Gunslinger allows Wild Bill to have a more offensive defense. This can be a double-edged sword as he has greater chance of wounding the opponent, but also increases the odds of himself taking more damage. Dead Man's Hand lets Wild Bill discard a tactic card to get an automatic success. This can often be just enough to push an Aristo into the infirmary. Finally, his native ability lets him discard 2 blocks in order to draw a tactic card, helping the team be flush with options. Wild Bill will be taking Ace of Clubs, giving him a free action to use his Twin Pistols attack. The other tactic he is taking in today's game is Ace of Hearts, allowing the player to search the discarded tactics deck and placing 1 card back into the player's hand. 8 Ball is the team's combined tank and controller. His baseline stats make him more durable than most, but also retains some agility and movement. His attack, Eat My Fajing, does not have great damage capabilities, but its strength lies in the attack's switch that displaces the target. As a switch, this can be attained more than once in a single combat role, and with his native ability, he can even displace himself. This is what makes 8-Ball a surprisingly good controller in the Hexadome. His ability, Be Water Dude, also gives him further control as he can catapult allies forward, or put opponents into unfortunate positions they did not plan to be in. 8-Ball will be taking the tactics Dance for Me, which swaps two characters' positions close to 8-Ball, and Badass Boom, swapping himself with a target. Both of these tactics increase his range of control options, making him an unpredictable opponent in the closing of a turn as zone control gets flipped. The final player in the orange team may be small, but she is by no means least. Garta is the scorer. Athletic and nimble, no one contends with her for initiative and speed in today's game. She only has 2 hit points, so she can go down easy, but she is hard to pin down for most Aristos. She has no special attacks, but her ability Misdirection is invaluable against ranged attackers, as it reduces their range for abilities to 1 with the dazzled state. Garta has a free ability called Free Run. This is what makes her the most agile Aristo in Aristeia, as she can target adjacent Aristos or obstacles and place herself next to them. This basically has her flipping over what would otherwise impede another Aristo for a single movement point. She also has the passive ability Feline Reflexes, which gives her a defensive boost when adjacent to an attacker. Her native switches give her the ability to displace herself, giving her even more movement options or the ability to nullify a success against her, greatly increasing her odds of survival. She'll be taking the tactic Quicksilver, removing the opponent's ability to move her in any way for a round and giving her a critical success for all agility rolls. This tactic is especially useful when the opponent's controller has not yet activated and you also need to get through a wall of opponents. She will also bring Pain Suppressants, which convert all damage to poison tokens. This ultimately means she will hold off going to the infirmary until her next activation, ensuring that she can score in the round. The orange team will rely on causing damage to disrupt the opponent's plans and outmaneuvering techniques with their agile and high initiative Aristos. Those are the teams and the scenario is ready. It's time to enter the Hexadome. Round 1 is ready to begin with Aristos on both teams ready to make a break for early scoring opportunities at the center objective. First activations are from 8-Ball and Maximus. As 8-Ball has the initiative, the orange team lets the green team go first. Maximus makes his way to the objective using all his action points to reach the edge. 8-Ball does the same, but as he's a little nimbler, he manages to hold the center of the scoring zone. Next we see Wild Bill and Parvati activate, and again orange team forces the hand of green and makes them go first. Parvati takes up a position of cover and fires her submachine guns at 8-Ball, using the tactic Focus to add 1 more yellow die. Parvati uses one of the specials she rolled to increase her initiative and causes 2 points of damage, but she also takes a point of damage in retaliation. Wild Bill moves up to fire on Parvati, knowing that Maximus is too tough to crack. Parvati has cover, but Wild Bill uses the tactic Focus to add a yellow dice. However, his only successful attack roll is cancelled by Parvati's critical block. Again, the orange team have initiative and force the hand of green to activate first. Hexa moves up towards the scoring zone and fails to evade Retro 8-Ball out of the zone. She makes 2 more attempts and pushes him out of the scoring area, leaving only Maximus as the sole objective holder. Musashi begins the turn by playing Take a Breath to draw 2 tactics cards. A poor deployment and Wild Bill blocking the most direct path, he uses all his action points to get himself to the center of the scoring zone, now contesting it with Maximus. The final activation had the green team play the tactic Field Analysis to finally take advantage and force Garta to act first. Garta sped herself up the field to hold the scoring zone with Musashi. As Major Luna activated, it became clear there was a terrible positioning for the green team. Parvati blocked an approach from the right and a trio of characters had made a wall on the left. This gave her 1 target, 8-Ball. It would cost the team 2 points, but could disadvantage the opponent for the following round. Taking a position of cover allowed for an extra orange die in her attack, and it helped her score just enough hits to send 8-Ball straight to the infirmary. This ended the first round and the orange team were awarded 2 points, but with one man down at the start of the second round and the green team choosing the next scoring zone, it's going to be an uphill battle to hold the lead. 8-Ball moves to the bench and receives the -2 energy state. The green team receives 2 tactics cards, one for the round ending and another for getting a frag. The orange team also picks up 2 tactics for the round ending and for scoring. The green team are the underdogs as they have failed to score yet and are trailing 2 points. This gives them the chance to choose this round's scoring zone, and they are picking Zone 5. It has the easiest access for their own Aristos and it's going to be hard for orange to contend with it. With smart plays and a bit of luck, the green team has a chance to dominate the scoring zone for 3 points. The teams now have their activation order and we are ready to start. Here comes Maximus and Wild Bill. With a higher initiative, Wild Bill takes the opportunity to take a shot at Hexa, hopefully sending her to the infirmary before she activates. Hexa plays the tactic Untouchable to significantly increase her defense roll, while Wild Bill uses Take Aim to add an orange die. The roll is good for Wild Bill, and because Hexa has no successes, he uses his blocks to activate his native switch and draw a tactic card for his team. The current roll will cause 2 wounds to Hexa, leaving her with 1 left. But Wild Bill uses his passive ability, Dead Man's Hand, to discard a tactic and get 1 more success. This is enough to send Hexa to the infirmary right at the beginning of the round. As she has not activated yet, this could hurt the green team's chances of dominating this round. Wild Bill is not going to be able to contest the scoring zone, so he uses his remaining energy to move back towards his own deployment area, preparing to be in a position to take a zone in the next round in case green scores well now. Maximus now makes a move, but before he can do so, he needs to pass an agility check against Mushashi's brawn. As Maximus has an automatic critical success, he succeeds with ease and puts himself in contact with Garta and Mushashi, looking to attack Garta and hold Mushashi in place. Maximus uses his attack, Jotun's Shield, against Garta. Now, because they are adjacent to one another, Garta gets an improved defense roll, and she's also using the tactic Dodge to get an extra blue die to her roll. Garta rolls well and is able to displace herself using her native switch. She also has many blocks, but they are to no avail as Maximus's critical success ignores them all and causes her a single wound. Garta doesn't take it without a fight, and her retaliation causes Maximus a wound as well. Major Luna and 8-Ball activate, and with a higher initiative, Major Luna takes the opportunity to shoot Mushashi while he is vulnerable in the open. And to add insult to injury, she uses the tactic Snakebite to add an extra automatic success and orange die. However, Mushashi is having none of that and nullifies Snakebite with the tactic No. That probably saved him, as only a single wound was knocked off of Mushashi thanks to a critical success. Failing to kill, Major Luna falls back to the scoring zone to claim it. 8-Ball now activates and returns to the Hexadome beside Mushashi in the center zone. With 2 points of energy gone, he can only perform Be Water Dude to try and get Mushashi away from Maximus so he can move freely on his own activation. 8-Ball's roll is just enough to first activate his switch to displace himself, and then the success displaces Mushashi within leaping distance to the scoring zone. A great play, making use of an Aristo returning to the arena to set up a teammate. Mushashi is then activated, and so is Parvati. But even with her initiative bonus, Mushashi's is higher. He takes the advantage to run into the scoring zone, and thanks to 8-Ball's great play, he's able to do so with 1 movement activation, leaving him enough energy to attack Major Luna. Looks like he was none too happy about being shot at, and he's about to take his revenge. Just a straight roll from both sides with no tactics sees Major Luna take 2 damage and Mushashi 1. Mushashi then uses his switch to displace for each point of damage he caused to reposition himself within the scoring zone. Parvati now has a crucial decision to make. She can use her turn to try and dominate the scoring zone, but that will leave Garta to run in and contest it. The problem with that is it gives advantage to the other team for the next turn as they are more maneuverable. The other option is to take out Garta to disadvantage the orange team, keep the underdog status, and choose the next scoring zone. She chooses the latter option and takes a shot at Garta. Both roll really well, but it ends with Garta taking a single wound, enough to send her to the infirmary. The final activation in round 2 is for Hexa and Garta, but with both Aristos in the infirmary, nothing happens and the round is over. Both teams score a point each. Hexa and Garta now move to the bench, and both sides get 3 tactics each as they both got points and frags. The green team gets to choose the next round's scoring zone again, but can they take advantage with all the Aristos spread out across the field? They really need Hexa to help displace the opponents, otherwise they are going to find themselves outmaneuvered and out-activated every round. Green team gets to choose the scoring zone again and have gone with zone 4. Major Luna is in trouble as she's adjacent to Musashi, who excels at close combat and has a higher initiative, almost guaranteeing his activation over her. 8-Ball is still suffering from a -1 energy, so this limits his options, and Wild Bill is far from the scoring zone. Garta will be joining with low energy, but with her flexibility and movement, this might not be such a hindrance. So, let's get going with round 3. As expected, Musashi is activating first for the orange team, and Parvati for the green team. Musashi makes an attack on Luna, and she's increasing her defense with 1 yellow die, using the tactic Focus. This should be useful as yellow dice give a greater chance for specials, which Luna can use to nullify blocks. This is very important against Musashi as he turns blocks into successes. Luna's roll isn't great and lets in 1 success, enough to put her down and send her to the infirmary. Musashi gets 1 free displacement for the wound caused and then uses the rest of his energy to move close to the scoring zone. Parvati activates and moves into cover to shoot Musashi. Her roll is enough to do a point of damage, but before that she increases her initiative and uses the tactic Fortune Favors the Badass to reroll 1 die. The blank orange then becomes a double hit, making it enough to send Musashi out of the arena, if Musashi didn't then play the tactic Sorado to nullify the die that Parvati just rolled. He takes a single wound and stays on the table. Parvati uses the remaining movement points to get into the scoring zone and take advantage for the green team. We now see Hexa coming back from the bench, and she takes initiative to go before 8-Ball. Knowing that 8-Ball is in range of the scoring zone, just before she starts activating, the green team use the tactic Stick to the Plan, allowing them to search the deck for a tactic and also have both teams draw a free random tactic. Hexa takes unlimited power and saves it for when she might need it. Now she activates and casts Gotcha on 8-Ball in an attempt to immobilize him and stop any chance of him scoring. And with a fantastic roll, Hexa is not only able to immobilize 8-Ball, but reduce his movement characteristic and displace herself twice to get out of range of any retaliation 8-Ball might want on his activation. To finish her turn, she tries to evade Retro Maximus, but she's unsuccessful. I think all her luck was used up on the previous roll. With very few options, 8-Ball attacks Maximus using Eat My Fajing. He's able to displace himself once and cause a wound. The next activation sees Luna unable to do anything as she's in the infirmary, leaving Wild Bill to activate and take control of the turn. However, he is too far from the scoring zone and cannot get in shooting range of Parvati, so instead goes after Hexa by moving into the line of sight to hopefully put her down and reduce her effectiveness for the next round. The roll is strong and sends Hexa out of the game again. The final activation for the round has Maximus getting a turn and Garta coming back to the dome. With only Parvati in the scoring zone, can Green score an uncontested 3 points, or can Garta get in to contest it? The orange team choose to go second and let Maximus go first. Knowing that the scoring zone is out of reach, Maximus makes a beeline for Wild Bill. Keeping him tied up in close combat is going to negate the old cowboy's ability to shoot and make him next to useless in the following round. Garta returns to the Hexadome in Zone 5 and makes a move for the scoring zone and is able to make it inside by using Musashi as a booster for her movement. She still has 1 point of energy and uses it to try and dazzle Parvati with her skill Misdirection. With a great roll, she's able to displace herself and dazzle Parvati, meaning that she won't be able to use any actions beyond the range of 1. Again, both teams score a point each and receive 3 tactic cards. Injured Aristos move to the bench and we get ready for round 4. Green team continue to trail 2 points, but this play has them dictating every scoring zone and it has allowed them to slowly wear down the orange team. Is it enough to let them capitalize in this penultimate round, or can orange score enough to prevent any kind of a comeback? Time to begin round 4. Green team elects Zone 1 to be the scoring zone and the game gets underway. The first Aristos to activate are Parvati and 8-Ball. With a higher initiative, Parvati chooses to act first and uses the tactic Take a Breath to draw 2 tactic cards. She uses Reset and rolls successfully to remove the states currently in effect on her, most importantly, removing Dazzled. Now able to see again, she fires her submachine guns at Musashi, who is already wounded from the previous rounds. She uses the tactic Take Aim to get an additional orange die, while Musashi uses the tactic Dodge to get an extra blue die. With a valiant roll, Musashi is able to remove a number of Parvati's successes, but ends up still taking a hit, putting him in the infirmary. That is a great start for the green team as it takes out an Aristo before they could activate. With 8-Ball still suffering from a negative movement modifier, he's unable to get to the scoring zone this round, so instead positions himself ready to score the next round by giving up this current scoring zone. If green are able to score, then the underdog status will switch and allow orange to dictate the final scoring zone. This could be a risky play that ensures their victory, but only if green cannot get better positioning. But with 2 Aristos on the bench, they can at least appear anywhere in the arena. Hexa and Musashi now activate, but with Musashi already in the infirmary this round, he's unable to do anything, leaving Hexa to try and take advantage. She re-enters in Zone 5 to deny the area as possible scoring zone for the next turn. Although it takes away support for the current scoring zone, she would not have been able to make it, and removing options from the opposing team is a better use of her activation. She tries to gotcha 8-Ball again, but fails to immobilize him or reduce movement. The only thing left to try is Vade Retro, but this also fails in a turn of awful dice rolling. Garter and Maximus are up next, and Maximus is forced to go first. He decides to Jotun Shield attack Wild Bill with an extra blue die thanks to the tactic Dodge. The roll from both sides has a lot left to be desired, but Maximus manages to wound Wild Bill for 1 point of damage. Maximus then makes a move, but not before Wild Bill attempts a block. There is no way for the build to succeed, but the roll may have alternative benefits. Of course, Maximus is able to get away, but Wild Bill has enough blocks to activate his native switch and draw an extra tactic card. Maximus then moved to take control of the scoring zone. Garter rolls and successfully dazzles Parvati again before racing across the field, but it is too far even for her as she stops close to Wild Bill. With only Major Luna left to re-enter the Hexadome, Wild Bill takes advantage by moving into cover to take a shot at Maximus with the support of the tactics Focus and Take Aim. Maximus also takes the tactic Dodge to help increase his chances of survival. The rolls are strong, and although Maximus is able to block 3 successes, he still takes 3 wounds. Wild Bill tries to follow this up with the tactic Ace of Clubs to make a free Twin Pistols attack. It successfully deals 2 damage, reducing Maximus to only 1 wound, which Wild Bill then reduces to 0 by discarding a tactic card to get an additional success. The tank is then sent off the field to lick his wounds. Now, the scoring zone is up for grabs with no one inside. With Wild Bill's remaining 3 movement points, he now takes control. If the orange team can hold this objective, it will make a comeback for the green team impossible. What can Major Luna do to give green a chance? Well, it turns out she can at least try and assassinate the gunslinger with a well-placed headshot. And the roll is good, causing enough damage to send Wild Bill out of the arena and giving the green team 1 more round to try and snatch a victory. Neither team scores, but they both get frags, so they receive 2 tactic cards. The scoring zone will not change as neither team scored from it, and with so many coming on from the bench and Aristos all over the board, it's hard to say who can capitalize. However, the green team takes a small advantage by playing Advanced Surgery to prevent Maximus from losing any energy on his return. That could make for a key play, and we can expect him to have a late activation to prevent any displacement shenanigans. On with the final round. We begin with Major Luna and Musashi. Before Luna can do anything, Musashi appears next to her and attacks. Luna has a great roll, managing to cancel one of Musashi's dice, but he manages to take Luna down to 1 wound remaining by converting his blocks into successes, and then uses his switch to attack again. I can't help feeling that he made a mistake here, and should have just ignored the switch to kill Luna outright. And the follow-up attack fails to wound Luna at all, and takes a wound for himself. That could cost the orange team dearly. With Major Luna still alive, she takes a pot shot at Garter. The roll is strong and takes her down. Removing Garter in the last round puts green team into the driving seat, and now orange are going to struggle for board control. Wild Bill takes initiative over Parvati and places himself in a position to help block the scoring zone, as he does not have enough movement to get inside. Parvati is too far away to affect the scoring zone, so she takes an opportunity to move and shoot at 8-Ball. With enough frags, the green team can try and get a win, even if the score's tied. 8-Ball gets a critical block and chooses to use it to remove Parvati's block, so that they both take damage. Parvati still has an action point and uses it to try and heal her wound, which she does. 8-Ball and Maximus have the same initiative, but the underdog gets to choose activation order. The green team let 8-Ball go first so that Maximus can react to what happens on the board. 8-Ball doesn't have much in the way of choices as he is far from the scoring zone, but decides to get as close as possible to reduce easy access by blocking possible paths. With the right side of the scoring zone choked with orange Aristos, Maximus comes into play on the left side in zone 2. Maximus tries to move and Musashi attempts a block, but it fails to do anything against Maximus's critical success. Thanks to the advanced surgery tactic from earlier, he has enough energy to move twice into the scoring zone. The final activation is mute as Gata is already in the infirmary, leaving Hexa nothing to do, and the green team have complete domination of the scoring zone, giving them 3 points. This makes the final score 5-4 to the green team. An amazing final play to claim a victory after spending the whole game trailing behind the orange team. The key moment had to be when Musashi didn't choose to kill Luna outright in the final round, a poor decision that let Luna live and take out Gata, removing the one Aristo who could get into the scoring zone with ease. I hope you enjoyed the game and we will see you next time in the Hexadome. If you're still with us, thanks for watching up until now. I know it's been quite a long video. Right now, this is for anyone who's actually gotten this far in and actually stayed with the video. This little video was, I say little video, it took me a while to make this one. The editing process was quite a challenge, but I really wanted to have a go at this. And now what I want is your feedback. If you stayed on till the end and you watched it through, thanks so much. You got pretty good patience, because I know sometimes my voice is a bit drony, so it's hard to really sometimes make it as exciting as I would like it to be. But this was a test video, basically, just to see if I could do this. And I've just crammed as much as possible in this. There's like loads of information. There's too much information. I already know that. And for future videos, I would like to reduce a lot of the content here. But I want to know what you thought of the video. What areas of the video did you like? Is there anything that you don't like in the video? Is there anything that is missing that you think would make the video better? Yeah, that kind of information. I'd like to do some more Aristeia videos like this. I have already recorded a video against a real person, so that's going to change the format a little bit, because obviously this is a bit staged with a game that I just played by myself, so you don't really get the full tactical spontaneity of a real game from this one. However, the game I played against my friend does have that. It's going to take a bit to edit that, so it might take a little while. But some of the things that are going to be different in that one is that between each round, we do a discussion review of how the round has gone, how we think we played in that round, who we think has got the advantage, to a certain extent what we're looking to do in the following rounds to try and capitalize on whatever's happening. So that's gonna have like each round broken up by an actual discussion, which I think will be quite interesting. I might be able to actually use some of the audio as well we've played in the game, so that you can actually kind of get a bit more of our thinking and things like that. That's also going to have a much more simplified breakdown of the characters, because we do a selection mechanic for the Aristos that we choose, and so that almost breaks it down for us. So I don't need to go into such detail, I don't think, as I did in this video, because I think that it was too much at the beginning. But again, I just wanted to test it. I wanted to see how it looked. I wanted to see how it felt, and just stuff this thing with as much as possible. And that's why it's 30 minutes. I hope in the future, maybe future videos will be about 20 minutes with a larger emphasis on the actual battle report part. But yeah, there's that. Now, this also means that I've got Infinity Defiance. So if anyone has seen that, it's done by the same company and uses very similar mechanics. So I can use a lot of the assets that I've been building for this video in a video for Infinity Defiance. So I'd love to do a playthrough, mission by mission videos of Infinity Defiance. That one works a lot better for me playing by myself. because that's a game that you play against the board, and it works that way whilst this whole Corona COVID situation is in effect, and I can't really get out the house to actually play people very much. So I would like to have a go at doing an Infinity Defiance video, and I would like to know if you would be interested in that. The other thing to do as well is actually do games of Infinity with this style of aesthetic of a battle report. I love watching battle reports, but I find there's something special about having the actual, I like the banter between players, which obviously this video doesn't have any, but sometimes I like the cinematic side of things as well, and often the shots are just so far out, it's hard to feel or get into the game. Like when you're playing, you kind of imagine yourself down there and in there, and you can do that because the models are in front of you and you are feeling the game as you're playing it. I find sometimes watching battle reports, I got that distanced feel, and what I want to do with these videos is trying to get at least a little bit of that feeling of I'm in there knowing what the game is going on about. I would rather like to have real roles. Like there's something, even though you're not doing it yourself, even though it's on a camera, seeing the real role in front of you is kind of nice. So I've got this kind of role animation that I've made, very simple one, which I think works really, really well for just a clarity of being able to see what the results are for the role. But I do I think there is something to be said about seeing those roles roll out. I think 40k in 40 minutes does it well, like where you don't actually really see the results, you just get the sense, because that works with 40k. You're just like, oh, you roll 10 dice and then you roll 3 dice and then you roll, you kind of get it very, very fast, flashy. It feels good when you're watching that. It doesn't really so much matter that you see the exact rolls, you just know that it's flowing and dice are being rolled. This one, I think for Aristeia it's more important that you do see the rolls that you make, and seeing all of the dice results, because there's options within a dice roll. It's not just a hit or a miss, it is what switches can I play, what things can I do. And if you've watched this video, you'll have probably seen that I've missed a bunch of stuff because I'm basically playing it all by myself and I made a few mistakes as I was going. So there's a few errors. You can watch out for those and you can point them out for me because I know where they are, but I just haven't highlighted them so much. But yeah, this is me just rambling now, so I just want to know, yeah, is this a video you'd like to see more of in the future? I'm going to be making one more for sure with an actual opponent. I'm going to see how that format turns out. I would really like to do these because I really enjoyed making it. It's just, it eats up my time, so I haven't done any painting, which sucks. And I'm going to be entering into a contest soon for painting, so I've got to switch this bit off and go into the painting mode. Evening coffee. So yeah, that's that really. Thank you for watching everything. I'm gonna do that little begging bit at the end of most videos you see on YouTube. So if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe. The attention that I get for this is gonna dictate whether I'm gonna be able to continue doing this. Because I'm doing this for fun. But at the same time, it takes a lot of my time. So I'd really appreciate whether you liked it or disliked it or anything, and you stuck around for this, put in a comment. Just put in something, okay? You made the effort this far. Made that little extra effort of just writing something down the bottom there. I'm gonna appreciate that a lot, because I want to know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and make these videos as good as possible, because I feel like Aristeia is something that deserves a high quality video series and things like that. It's just a fantastic game. And I would love to do it for other Corvus Belli games, because that's really mostly what I play. I would even like, I was even thinking of, I used to play Malifaux 2nd edition. I haven't played any 3rd edition, but I really like Malifaux as well. And I think Malifaux
would also be really good with this format as well. So that could also be a possibility for the future, but there's no chance of these things going to be rolling if I don't get any kind of interest in it. So that's going to be down to how much interest. I don't need much interest, to be honest. If I have a few people that really enjoy it, it's not like I need 1,000 subscribers to do this. No, like if I get pushed over 100 subscribers for doing this video, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna go and make another one. So that's that. I'm cheap. That's basically it. Yeah, and I don't make videos to be super popular on YouTube or get a lot of attention. Of course, I would like a little bit. I feel like I try to put quality into my videos. My personal presentation skills have a lot left to be desired, and I need better microphones, better equipment generally. Yeah, I'm rambling a lot, aren't I? So yeah, well, thank you for watching, and I've probably taken up even more of your time right now. I've been talking for 10 minutes, according to my camera just there. So, thank you. Please comment, like, dislike, subscribe, do all of that stuff. You've been hanging around for over half an hour watching these videos, so must be doing something right. Bye.